Hi, today I want to talk a bit about dynamic loading in Rust. As some of you know, I've started following along with the Handmade series, making a game from scratch. I'm going to doing this in Rust, whereas he is doing it in C++. Anyway, it is necessary to load DLLs of some sort, and even worse, it is necessary to load them optionally. Now, in Rust, usually the way you can load a function is through the extern keyword, where we just say extern, see this is the type of function call that it knows what kind of library it is interfacing with. And pretty much any system libraries or the DLLs will be of type C. And then we can define the function we're trying to load. Which may have some return type, right? Now it's possible we need to specify the link property and give this thing a name. This is the library to load. And it'll look then for this DLL somewhere. It's also possible that we need to specify, especially since Rust doesn't have function overloading, that we need to specify here the link name as well. And that would be then, sorry, I did something. Still getting used to the editor. Would be function A, for example. And we could then also, if we had function overloading here, for example, we could then have one, which would be U8, and we need to have some other name here for Rust. But we could link against the same function, and then that would work correctly. Now, the issue with this is that the program assumes at runtime that this DLL exists and tries to link against it. And if it doesn't work, it'll panic. And that is not a good thing when you want to load them conditionally, which is the case, which is what I'm doing in my case. So let's get rid of this. And the way I'm doing it is I'm including here the Windows trait, which provides get proc address and load library. If I didn't do that, I would load them the exact same way I just showed and then use them that way. And I could maybe even actually go shortly through that, how that would look like at the example of get proc address, maybe. So we could define then get proc address, and we're going to figure out what the typing on this is in a second. So let's go over to the Windows documentation. Get proc address has this structure here. In means that via input arguments, the Windows API has a habit of writing to the pointer of a function argument the output of a function instead of returning it. In this case, it actually returns it, right? So we see it as some type varproc get proc address, the function, then the module, and then the name of the function to load. Module is the DLL we loaded. That is what load library gives back to us. So varproc is a var pointer to a procedure that in Rust is always iSize. So we know it returns an iSize. And it accepts some types like HModel and LPC string. I'm pretty sure that's a long pointer again to character string, so that should be just a pointer to character, basically. But if we look for, so there's this page here, Windows data types, and we can search here for various of their keywords, and we see that an H module apparently is a H instance, which appears to be a handle, which is a void pointer. In which case, this would be just a C void. Void C? Void C, I believe. Ah, nee, it is C void. Right, this one. So, module C void. And then we would have also the other thing. What is the character string? Pretty sure. Please let me find it. LP string. Oh, I have a space afterwards. That's why it doesn't find it. Yeah, it is a character pointer, which in case of Rust means it's just a reference to, or a pointer to U8 slice, right? And then we could use that thing down later, but as I've already loaded it, that's not what I'm going to do. So once we have those two functions, we can actually load functions dynamically, and for that we need to put them somewhere. I've got to find a global mod here. It's just a pub static mod. But I define once the type of the function that I'm interested in loading. These are the Windows types directly, which are all loaded with a C-style representation for the bit layout. I supply a stub. That is the default behavior that if the library doesn't get found, because Rust doesn't have null, and we don't want to make them point to null as well. If someone calls this thing, this should be a well-behaved program. We could even panic here if we wanted to, but we should just have some undefined behavior here. So we set it to the stub value first, and then we are going to load the library, then get the proc address of it, get proc address gets the procedure address, so the or process address, I believe actually. That is the address offset in the DLL, in the loaded DLL for some symbol you provide. In this case, get state, and then I put this thing simply into the global variable, which I can then use from anywhere. Right here. This transmute is necessary to tell Rust, trust me, it got the right bit shape, because get proc address gives you a C void pointer back, which isn't very useful for us because Rust doesn't know what this is. It doesn't know that that is a function and that it has arguments and return types. Transmute tells Rust to just believe us that this is the case. Obviously, all of this needs to be handled with care, and that's why pretty much everything in here is unsafe. Right, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Just a short info dump, and I will upload more regularly again, but I've been getting busy and things keep getting in the way. Anyway, goodbye.